Good morning, Vision. So glad you're all here today. So good to see your faces here in the room, and it's so great to see you all online. One of these cameras, I'm glad you're here today too. We're going to celebrate, and we want you to join us. So please stand and let's celebrate our faith.
Careful. Good morning, Vision. How are you this morning? It is such a wonderful day. I'm so glad you're all here. I just love it. And for our Vision community at home, thank you for tuning in as well. We are here together, either through technology, in the seats. We know we are one. So let's put that into prayer right now. I give great thanks for this day. I know it is perfect. I know it is Spirit having an experience. It is the activity of God in, through, and as our lives, and we know it. We know it. And as we become more aware, more elevated, more awake, we know and accept that all of the qualities of God are our qualities. They flow through us. And we demonstrate them in abundance, and abundance is one of them. We demonstrate them in love, in joy, in peace, in harmony, in wisdom. We know that all of the qualities are our qualities, that we are some undifferentiated aspect, some activity that Spirit is having right here and right now. And we know what is true for us is true for all beings everywhere. There is one life. It is God's life. It is whole, perfect, and complete. It is our life right here and right now. And so it is. Amen. Good morning. How's everybody doing? Nice and energetic. Yay. It's a beautiful day. It's a little warm. It's going to be warm again, right? It's going to be one of those really, I live inland, so it's always hotter there than here. I have air conditioning, so that's always a good thing. I remember Ernest Holmes did a whole talk once on air conditioning because he had one of the first air-conditioned cars in LA, really, and he did this whole talk about how his brand new Cadillac had air conditioning. It was hilarious. I'll have to bring it in. It's taped. I have the recording of it. It's funny. Anyway, where am I going with that? This is the place to be. We have air conditioning here too, and I'm hoping you do it as well at home because it is warm. This is the place to be. You are in the right place. You are in the right place. It is the right time for us right here, right now. Breathe that in. There are practitioners that are here serving you in prayer online and in the room. There are practitioners that will meet with you after the celebration and have prayer with you, one-on-one prayer. So don't go anywhere after celebration before you get prayer support. If you've come with anything on your heart, and even if you haven't, I haven't said that for a while, but I want to remind you, because I know you know, but I'm just going to remind you, even if your life is going great, even if you're like, it can't even get better, I love my life, it can get better. Can it? Right? And that's the prayer then, is like this and more, please, or this or better, please. This, that's just the way it is. We are forever in that river of God's abundance. So there is always this giving and receiving. We are always in the flow. So absolutely, see a practitioner, even if you don't think that you have to, right? Have to. Even if everything is going right and well and wonderful in your life, there is that prayer of gratitude. That everything is well, and everything is right, and everything is good. And we want to keep it there, right? So do that. What else can I tell you? We have our youth ministry. We still are meeting with them. So you're welcome to bring the youth in. We do that safely. We're masked up. Everything is safe. So you may continue to do that. What else do I want to tell you? What else do I want to tell you? I know we have welcome packets. I don't know if you saw one on the way in, but I'm going to show you what they look like. They look like this. If you are a guest, or if you know someone who could benefit by becoming a guest and coming to Vision, pick one up, bring it to them. Let them know that we are here, that this is the work that we're doing, that we are a center for spiritual living, that we absolutely live in the faith and the philosophy and the way of life that Ernest Holmes described, that there is just one life, it is God's life, that we know it responds to us, to our predominant thought, and it outpictures accordingly. So if you know someone that would resonate with this, and I know you do, pick up one of these little handy-dandy little guest packets and hand it off to them and say, you know what, this is a perfect place for you. Because it's a perfect place for you, right? It certainly is. And there is this lovely quote on the front that tells us, for ourselves as a reminder, and it tells our guests, so let's say it together. Are you with me? Whoever you are and wherever you are welcome here. You are safe and you are loved. And so now I'm going to turn it over to our celebration singers. Thank you so much. Aren't they lovely? And they are going to sing our, yes, yeah, yay. They're going to sing our centering song to prepare us for meditation. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And as we move into our time of meditation, let's just take this moment to remind ourselves that we are not just the expression of God. We are that divine life expressing into this moment. God is breathing me. God is teaching my heart. God is breathing me. God is breathing. God is breathing.
That would be good morning. I'm Reverend Lori, and I'm here as a staff minister here at Vision. And I'm going to be reading some quotations and allow these quotations to really settle into your heart as we move into silence and allow the tones of the bell to welcome you into our 5-minute meditation. I have 2 quotes. The first one is by William Blake. To see a world in a grain of sand and heaven in a wild flower, hold infinity in the palm of your hand and eternity in an hour. And from our founder, Ernest Holmes, since we cannot encompass infinity, we shall always be expanding and always enlarging our capacity to know and to experience. Please join me in taking a big, deep breath, filling our lungs, and then to release, letting go all of those thoughts, beliefs, and ideas that no longer serve us. For we come together in joy today into this present moment to celebrate. We celebrate the presence of Spirit that works in and through all of us to create a world that works for everyone. I know right here and right now that each one of us is one with the divine, that I call my beloved, the grace beyond all grace. I call this presence God. I know this creative energy is one of wholeness, health, prosperity, and grace, and it is this presence that beats my heart, that breathes my breath, and that cradles my dreams. I surrender all that I am so I may be guided toward my highest good and revel in the good that is revealed to me every moment, every day. I allow prayer to change my life and change my thinking. Today I look at the world through the lens of goodness, kindness, and peace for all people in all nations. We are all grateful for these words, and I know I speak them with conviction and grace. My heart is filled with gratitude, for I know this prayer is already done in the mind of God, and so I release these words and allow them to take flight. Please join me in saying, "And so it is."
Our soloist today comes from a very musical family. So if ever someone was born to be a true musician right from the heart and soul, it's Gregory Page. So he'll be performing at Folky Monkey on October 14th with Joe, and before he goes to Amsterdam to the cheering throngs that love his music there. Welcome, Gregory Page.
Good morning. Thank you for inviting me to be with you here. I was supposed to be in Amsterdam for 2 very special concerts this weekend, but the way the changing world is, I got to thinking while I was in meditation, you tell other people your plans and what you're doing, and God just laughs. And I've been telling people for the past week, I'm supposed to be there, but no, actually, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right here, right now. And so I'd like to share this song with you. It's getting a lot of airplay currently in my car. Take care of yourself. To your heart be true. Sing your own song. Don't follow everyone else. And may all of your dreams come true. And when you think you've lost your way, those thoughts are just not true. Don't let them shake. Don't let them rattle you. Every day's a new day. Count your blessings, I say. Get out of your own way so you can move. Don't look behind and ask why. Our ticket is for one ride. Green lights and blue skies are on their way. Oh, they're on their way. My hope for you has always been a real love you will find, true happiness that brings out the best in each other. You both shine, 'cause in this crowded world that's hard to find. Every day's a new day. Count your blessings, I say. Get out of your own way so you can move. Don't look behind and ask why. Our ticket is for one ride. Green lights and blue skies are on their way. When you break down, make it a breakthrough and do exactly what you're afraid to do. Day and night, life is dark and bright, and together with your shadow you'll get through. Oh, every day's a new day. Count your blessings, I say. Get out of your own way so you can move. Don't look behind and ask why. Our ticket is for one ride. Green lights and blue skies are on their way. Oh, they're on their way. Thank you, kind friends. Thank you so much.
We are in the second week of September, and September's theme is reaching higher. So that's what we're doing. We are reaching higher. We're contemplating it. We're living it. We're taking it into our meditation. What does it mean to us to be reaching higher? And today we're discussing to infinity and beyond. Right? To infinity. Oh, there he is. To infinity and beyond. I kind of have a movie vibe going this month. You notice last week was From Here to Eternity. That's a really old one. And today, to infinity and beyond. You're not flying. You're just falling with style, right? Buzz Lightyear, who was that gentleman up there, and Woody. You remember the little cowboy. What was Woody's last name? Anybody know? Here's a little bit of trivia for you. Do you know what Woody's last name was? See? Nobody even knew he had one, right? Yeah, it was in the script. It never made it into the movie, but it was in the script. Woody's last name is Pride. Woody Pride. I didn't make that up. And that comes to us from Lee, what's his name? Lee Unkrich, who was one of the directors. In fact, I think he was the director of Toy Story 3. He was the one who said, yes, he originally had a name. They didn't use it. They wound up not using it in the movie, but there you go. His name's Woody Pride. Next time you play Trivial Pursuit, do we play Trivial Pursuit anymore? I don't even know. God, that's ancient too. Anyway, there you go. A little piece of trivia for you. To infinity and beyond. That's what we're discussing. How we have limitless possibilities. We are born into this world with unlimited potential. Unlimited potential. What does that mean? To live in a state of limitless possibilities. Just breathe that in, because we're so hypnotized by the world to only have this or that, or because of this I can only do that, or all of these things that the world tells you. But to think that we come into this world and we have limitless possibilities. Ernest Holmes said this. He said, the spark of the divine flame of life within us, through which we may develop into perfect human beings, the Christ consciousness, or the illumined one. The God in us that is mighty to do for us all what we can conceive of ourselves to be. Through this infinite potentiality for perfection in us, all things are possible. That is incredible to think, that we have that power at our disposal, that we have that power that has created the entire universe flowing through us. And as we recognize it and as we direct it, it changes conditions around us. We are that infinite potential. And we can do with it what we choose. Winston Churchill said, success is not final, failure is not fatal. It is the courage to continue that counts, right? So, and we know that. We've messed up, haven't you? No, maybe I've messed up. Let me just talk about myself, right? I've messed up. You pick yourself up, you do something else, or you do the same thing again, right? I mean, I think we all have successes and failures, and life goes on, doesn't it? We still have choices. We still have that infinite potential to do something again, to do something different, to make another choice, to double down on the choice we made and try a different way of succeeding. We have infinite potential. So if we have this infinite potentiality for perfection, like Ernest Holmes said, in us, right? All things are possible. All things are possible. Why do we stay small? Why do we stay small? Why do we act so scared? Why do we stop trying before we achieve success? Whatever success is, however you define it, right? If we have this infinite potential, and I'm saying yes we do, Spirit says yes you do, we have this infinite potential. Rarely do we go beyond our self-imposed limitations. And I've spent a lot of time reading about this lately because everybody has ideas about how we succeed and how we fail, and why we succeed and why we fail, and what types of behaviors we need to incorporate in ourselves in order to get beyond our self-imposed limitations. I have been reading and reading and reading. And you know, there's all kinds of advice out there. There's all kinds of self-help books. There's all kinds of scripture. Everything that'll tell you, you know, I read 5 reasons why people fail and what they can do about it. 7 ways you can succeed and what to do when you don't. And 10 reasons why people try so hard and never make it. And 16 and 20 reasons, right, for success and for failure. And they're all interesting articles in their own way. And they were all interesting books in their own way. And they all gave really, really good advice. But it always, always, always comes down to consciousness. It always comes down to the consciousness that is within us. Ernest Holmes, in It Can Happen to You, he said this: for the most part, people seem to battle against their own good. Seems kind of weird, but we do. Anyway, he goes on to say, they wage the battle with negative thinking and destructive emotions. They seem to overlook the fact that life, mind, intelligence, God is good, creative, and constructive. A fuller experience of its nature can only become a part of your life as you get your petty, limited thoughts out of the way. Right? Sounds really easy, doesn't it? Right? Emerson, I think, said, right, get your bloated nothingness out of the way. That was even a little more direct. Until we change our consciousness, nothing we do will get us to where we want to be. After we change our consciousness, it doesn't matter what we do, it will succeed. Because it is all about the consciousness and it's not about the doing. You know, we've talked about this a lot, you know, people rushing out to do good, rushing out to do things, and they don't have the consciousness for it. And, you know, we've always compared it to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. Yay, great, wonderful, sucker's still going down, you know. It doesn't matter. Until the consciousness is changed, nothing we do will change. So everything starts there. Our most predominant thought, and that's what Ernest Holmes said all along. He had a huge ministry, years and years. And that message never changed. That the universe is greater than we are and we can use it, right? It is greater than we are and it responds to our most predominant thought and it will outpicture accordingly. So what's your predominant thought? What is your predominant thought? Is it positive? Right? Are you little Mary Sunshine? I hope so. because that's what serves us. Is your predominant thought positive? Or is your predominant thought negative? What is it? Are we looking for ways things are going to go wrong all the time, or are we looking for ways that things go right? Oh my God, what else can go right? I just love my life. Is it self-defeating, or is it encouraging? What is the self-talk? Because that predominant thought, that will outpicture some way, somehow. And it always does. It outpictures on our bodies. It outpictures on the body of our affairs. It outpictures in the conditions around us. I've always said that the body is the battlefield that the mind goes to war on. So if your thoughts are constantly negative, where is that playing out on your body? Because it comes out all the time. And these articles that I read, they talked about that. And they talk about many of the same things. Reasons why we don't go to infinity and beyond. The reasons why we don't go beyond our self-imposed limitations. Because we don't think we can. Right? Because the world has its own narrative. And it's not spiritual. The world's narrative is, who do you think you are? Right? To be able to do anything. So we get these messages. We don't think we can. Or, what else holds us back? We're afraid of failure. Oh my God, how will I look? Oh, people will laugh at me. Who cares? Believe me, that ship has sailed, folks. People laugh at you all the time. They do me. Hasn't killed me yet. There you go. Fear of success. Fear of success. Oh my God, who or what will I be if I succeed? If I live the life of my dreams? Who will I turn into? Oh my gosh, fear of success. We don't succeed because we don't practice self-discipline. We think it's just magically going to show up, you know? The life of our dreams is just somehow going to magically show up. Oh, I'll just sit here and I'll just pray hard enough and it'll knock at my door. You know, I would love that. That water to wine moment, sometimes it happens. Actually, sometimes it happens, but not all the time. But we don't practice self-discipline and we expect things to happen, right? What the ways do we sabotage ourselves? We get distracted. Oh, wait, Facebook. Right? Oh, wait, you know, it's like I'm on the way to make this report, or I'm in the middle of writing the book, but, you know, look at this, you know, Facebook is like so fascinating. We get distracted. We get distracted. Or we're afraid of standing out. I remember this was years and years ago. Marianne Williamson was doing a talk, and somebody said this some big hall that she was in LA, and somebody said, oh my God, you're getting such a following, and it's getting so big, and it's wonderful, and someday you're going to be speaking at Yankee Stadium. And she looked at them and she said, oh yeah, great place to get shot. And I thought, wow, that's an interesting response, right? But we have that fear, don't we? What happens when I stand out? What happens when I'm head and shoulders above everybody else and everybody knows me and sees me? There's a target on us. We got that consciousness from the 60s, didn't we? We got that consciousness from JFK and RFK and Martin Luther King Jr. We got that consciousness that the tall nail gets hammered, right? So we're afraid to stand out. Another way we fail or we don't succeed, I don't even know if is it failure or success, I don't even know. We don't achieve our goals maybe, is because we lack the humility to ask for help. We want to do it alone. We want to do it on our own. We want to pull ourselves up by our own bootstraps and all the rest of that American crap that we bought into, right? We have to do it alone. We have to go it alone. We have to do it on our own. So we don't ask for help, and we don't network, and we hesitate to have that beginner's brain. And we hesitate to say, I don't know. I don't know. How do I do this one? Can someone help me? Someone who's experienced, someone who's done it already. Can they help me? And we argue for our limitations so well. So well. I can't because. How many different reasons do you have for not being able to live the life of your dreams? Because you're too old, because you're too young, because you're too short. You know, somebody said that to me once. I was too short to be a minister. I loved it. I thought it was really funny. Anyway, things like that, right? I didn't get that degree. I don't have those credentials. How many different ways? I'm a woman in a man's field. I'm a man in a woman's field. Who knows? I mean, there are always so many different reasons we have to argue for your limitations. And I remember that old book. Was it Richard Bach? I don't remember which book it was. Probably Illusions, right? Where he said, argue for your limitations, and they are yours. Yeah, they are. We do that. We speak our word. Ernest Holmes said, speak your word powerfully and affirmatively, and it changes conditions around you. And if you're speaking your word, and your word is how you're limited, right? You're limiting yourself by your own word, by speaking the word of limitation in your own BS story. I'm really good today. And your own BS story of why you can't have what you want. And BS stands for belief systems. So I'm being really good. And we do all of this because we think we're alone. And we doubt our own capabilities, and we doubt our own talents. And we doubt our own possibilities. And we forget that Spirit is doing everything through us. We're not doing it anyway. Doesn't that take the responsibility off your shoulders? Doesn't that allow you to breathe? We're not doing it anyway. Spirit is living its life through you. You can do anything. You can do anything. Spirit is living its life through you. Or Emma said, what? Let Spirit work through me to will and to do what needs being done by me. Let Spirit do through me to will and to do what needs to be done by me. You're not doing it anyway. If you were all alone and you didn't have Spirit, you wouldn't even be breathing. Your heart wouldn't be beating. The energy, which is Spirit, is living your life. It is living your life. So let it. Let it. Ernest Holmes said this, and it's up to you. He said, we do not appear complete. We act as if we are temporal, limited, unprepared, and afraid. We are not so foolish as to think people do not suffer, that they do not experience want, that they are not unhappy, but the potential I, the potential you, is just as perfect as inherent God. You have within you, like Walt Whitman said, that seed of perfection that is nestled within you, that has never been lost, never been doubt, never been hurt, never been diseased, has never known anything but fullness. That spiritual center of us. That perfection that is nestled within, that knows only wholeness, that knows only completeness. When we remember, we are simply the vehicle for the divine expression. We are simply the vehicle for divine expression to flow through us. We don't have to be invested in how it's going to happen and how I'm going to do it and how I'm going to work through it and how I'm going to have to try harder to succeed. We don't have to worry about those things because those gifts have already been given because we are the vehicle of divine expression. Say that with me. I am a vehicle for divine expression. You ready? I am a vehicle for divine expression. Say it out loud at home too. Say it out loud. You with me? I am a vehicle for divine expression. That's what we are. That is what we are. We are the place where Spirit shows up and has a good time. Yay. Yeah, yay. Are you giving God a good time? What are you doing? Good Lord, And here's the thing. When we think we can't, we're not giving God credit. God created the whole universe. He can't get you a job. It can't get you a job. Spiritual energy can't give you that raise you think you deserve. Of course. It is the energy that created the universe. Why are we selling it short? Why are we putting the reins on God? We know God can. God can. God can. Did you ever have one of those? I made one years ago, a little can, God can. Did anybody have a God can? Okay, thank you. Somebody knows what I'm talking about. Little tiny, get a soup can. You get a soup can or a coffee can. Coffee cans are good. Coffee cans are good because they have a little plastic lid. You can put a slit in it, put a hole in the top. Make yourself a nice label, call it your God can. And whenever you're faced with a trouble or a challenge or something and you don't know what to do or where to go, or you want to set an intention and you just want it to manifest, you write it on a little piece of paper, you drop it in your God can, because you know what? If you can't, God can. Yeah, there you go. Don't you love it? I love puns. Anyway. Get yourself one. Do it. It works. It honestly works. We have to be able to trust, right? I'm not afraid of failing, right? That's one of the things that holds us back is fear of failure. Not afraid of failing. Done it tons of times. I'm really experienced at failing. The thing is, Spirit doesn't fail. Spirit doesn't fail. We have experiences. I'm not afraid of succeeding. Spirit is always succeeding. Spirit is forever unfolding in our lives and pointing out ways and opening doors. And if the door isn't open, the window is. Something opens for us to continue. Not afraid. I understand Spirit is expressing through me. Spirit is expressing through me. I'm not worried about how I look while I do it. We're always crappy at something the first time we do it. Have you been perfect at something the first time you ever did it? First time you picked up a guitar, the first time you sat at the piano, the first time you tried to paint a picture, the first time you did anything. Were you perfect at it? Were you wonderful? No. What happens is we compare ourselves to people who are professionals. And we go, oh, yuck. First time you paint, you look at it and you're like, oh, God, that's horrible. But we're comparing ourselves to Van Gogh or Rembrandt or Picasso or something, and it's like, God, they did that forever. They did that for years and years, all day long and all night long. That's all they did was paint. And you paint once at one of those little wine and painting nights, right? I know those. And you go, oh, God, I can't do this. Well, no, you've only done it once. Of course you're going to be bad at it. Revel in being bad at it. Do something real crappy for the first time because that's what we do. And don't be afraid to do it. I understand that's still Spirit. Spirit just, exercising itself through us. That's all it is. I don't worry about standing out. You know who worries about standing out? Your ego. Your ego cares very much whether you stand out or not, and what people think of you, and how they respond to you, and whether they dismiss you as a fool or not. Your ego is heavily, heavily invested in what it thinks you look like in front of other people. But you know what? Spirit isn't. Spirit isn't, and it's all God. All right? We don't have to resist asking people how to do this one, asking for guidance, or networking. Right? That old go-it-alone mentality, it's ridiculous and it's not truth. It's only a narrative because why? Because there's only one of us. There's only God. We are all showing up individualized, but not individuals. We are individualized expressions of this one life, of this one energy, of this one spirit, but there's only one of us. So who are you asking? You're asking your higher self in the form of someone else to answer back to you what you know anyway in your heart and soul, right? That's what we're doing. We're exchanging energy. That's all we're doing. It's all God. When we ask Spirit, it's Spirit answering. Deep calling unto deep, and deep responds. That's what we do when we reach out to others. Ernest Holmes said this, in Thoughts Are Things. Everything in the universe is a unique individualization or expression of the one thing, which is the cause of all things. You should become aware that the one creative power is expressing in you in a unique way, and that it is always pressing against you, seeking a fuller outlet of its infinite possibilities. You do not have to imitate or compete, for you are a special creation of God, as is everyone else. And you have full access to the unlimited potential of infinite intelligence. Holy moly, and that is at our disposal, right? We are unique individualizations, and that's what we're to do, to live that, to let it express through us, to be us out in the world. We have full access to all the wisdom, all the knowledge, all the power of the universe. That is the good news, isn't it? Oh my gosh. And you know what? You take a fish and you bring it home and you stick it in a little bowl. The fish will only grow that big, won't it? It only grows as big as its environment. And then you take the fish and you put it in a big giant tank and it'll grow bigger still. It'll grow as big as its environment. Small bowl, small fish. Big pond, bigger fish. What's keeping you so small? Right? Where are your self-imposed limitations? And that's why we're talking about infinity and beyond. To infinity and beyond, because that's really what we have to play with. We have infinity to play with. Our potential is unlimited. We need big bowl thinking, right? Not little fish bowl. We need big giant rivers and streams and giant lakes thinking, and not little bowl thinking. It's good for us to grow beyond our preconceived notions of what we think we can do. That's growing. Being on the growing edge. That's where the excitement is, folks. That's sexy right there, out there on that growing edge. That's where we're alive. When we're challenging our own self-imposed limitations. What else can I do? Really, what else can I do, right? And you just like push the limit, you push the edge, you go a little further. That's where we grow. And for us, this philosophy that we live is about growth. It is about new thought. We even call it new thought. There you go. It's called new thought because we're about having that new thought, growing, living the kind of life we want to live, right? And when we do, we give permission for others to do the same thing, right? We're living the life of our dreams. People come to us and go, what have you got? Why are you so damn happy? Whatever. You know, why? Why? Because I am breaking through my self-imposed limitations and I'm living the life of my dreams. Really, isn't that what we're longing for? Isn't that what you're longing for? It's not about stuff. It's not about money, really. It's not about things. It's about living that fulfilling life that we get up in the morning and we're excited to live, to make a difference in the world. We know we can hold the light for others. We know as we work on our stuff, we give everybody permission to work on theirs. When we're growing, right? And I'm not saying we have all of our stuff together before we can go out and help, right? Please don't think that, because I couldn't be here. You know, there wouldn't be any practitioners or ministers or anything if we had to get all of our stuff handled before we could even say this stuff out loud. You know, we're not flying, we're falling with style. Right? You know, nothing would ever get done. If you had to be perfect before you could start helping other people or being a force in the world, we would never get anything done. But as we travel this spiritual path together, as we heal, we give permission for those around us to do the same thing. We're walking each other home, right? Like Ram Dass said. So we are here to be the living embodiment of the Christ consciousness. And as we become more comfortable with that, we forgive more easily. We don't hold faults. We don't hold anybody accountable for anything. We hold them accountable, but we don't judge them, right? I mean, here's the thing. We let people be who and what they are. We stop taking things personally. We create healthy boundaries for ourselves. We want to make life better for ourselves and others. Ernest Holmes said, it is generally accepted that some form of useful service to humanity, perhaps helping other sufferers, is one of the best possible ways of seeking permanent happiness. And don't service organizations do that, right? They get their stuff handled and they go help others handle their stuff. I mean, AA, I think it's a huge tenet, right, of their steps is to help others on the path. And that's what we do, help others on the path. This life, this philosophy, this way of life is about being the light for others. Even though we're working through our own stuff, let's work through it together. You know, I'm reminded because this weekend we observed the 20th anniversary of 9/11. And They were just horrible, film footage and photographs, and I'm sure you've probably had them up to here. I think every show, every network, had a memorial, and you could peek in and see as many as you want. But I didn't see the one inspiring story that I loved, and it was about the boat lift from Lower Manhattan. When people ran from the terror and the horror of what was the collapsing World Trade Center, many of them went uptown, but many of them went downtown. And they got to Battery Park, and that was it. You're at the edge of Manhattan Island, and you're facing the lower bay, and there was no place to go because all of the bridges and all of the tunnels and all of the railways and everything was shut down. The only way out of southern tip of Manhattan was by boat. And so the Coast Guard, seeing all these people, put out just one call. Any available boats in the area, please come to Governor's Island to stage an evacuation for those people. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of boats showed up that morning. Tugboats, pleasure crafts, ferries, private boats, company boats. Every boat you could possibly think of in all of the whole area, New Jersey, Sandy Hook, Brooklyn, boats from all over showed up. It was the largest human evacuation in history. The Battle of Dunkirk, there were 330 soldiers that were evacuated, right? Took them 9 days, took the French and the British Army 9 days to evacuate them. On 9/11, 500,000 people were evacuated from Lower Manhattan in 7 hours. 7 hours. This is who we are. This is who we are. And we've been hypnotized by the narrative of the news and the divisiveness of politics into thinking that's not who we are, but that's who we are. We are loving, caring, supportive beings. We identify suffering as one of us. We are one. If you're suffering, I'm suffering. And Albert Schweitzer said, the only ones among you who will be really happy are those who will have sought and found how to serve. And this was one of the ways to serve. This is one of the ways we do. We ease the suffering of others because we know what it feels like. And we are the lights for the world. And so this is why we're not just doing this work for ourselves. We're not in religious science. We are not in New Thought for ourselves. We don't just come here on Sunday morning and go, oh yeah, that was a great talk, really inspiring, and then you forget about it for the whole rest of 6 days and then come back again for a recharge. It's about your life. It is about changing what you do and changing what you think and changing what you know and being a force for good in the world. We are here for a greater good, for the good we are and for the good we can do. And we know God is the good that we are. And we allow it to flow through ourselves and change the world. Rabbanith Tagore said, I slept and dreamt that life was joy. I awoke and saw that life was service. I acted and behold, service was joy. And we go back to core concept 1. There's only God. There's only God. There's only energy. We know this. Physicists know it. Science knows it. Literature, scripture knows it. There's only one source. There's only one energy. We know that everything we do for others, we benefit as well, because there's only one of us. There's only one of us in the room. There's only one energy. It is individualizing itself, but it's only one. And we're all sharing in it. Remember, I am a vehicle of divine expression. Say it with me again. I am a vehicle of divine expression. There's only one of us. Ernest Holmes said this, for those who have always dwelt on limited thoughts, a very good practice is to dwell on the magnitude of the universe. Think how many stars there are, how many fish there are in the sea, how many grains of sand on the beaches. Think of how big the oceans are, the immensity of space, the bigness of everything, the grandeur of everything. That's where we are, right? That's where we are. Don't be afraid to be the bigness. Don't be afraid of flying. You're just falling with style, right? Don't be afraid. We can't do everything. We can't be flawless. We're here to remember who we are, to allow Spirit to work through us, to work for us, And we have to keep saying yes to infinity and beyond. Thank you.
Wow. Can I get a copy of that before I leave, please? Your whole sermon. I think I know now why I'm not in Amsterdam. When I first started writing music, I just wanted to change the world with songs about peace and love. The young Gregory Page was a hippie, and he still is. I soon realized that I suffered from stage fright, so I had all these songs. I couldn't really get up in front of people and share them without some terror or just getting through it. That was kind of my mantra, just get through it. And a few years ago, a friend of mine said something that stuck with me that really has kind of helped me get through that feeling of just living in the moment and being happy to be up here and excited to be here and honored to be up here. My friend Mark Rimland is an artistic savant. He's a painter, and Dustin Hoffman based a lot of his character in the film Rain Man just hanging out with Mark. So Mark and I are neighbors, and we walk around the neighborhood a lot, and I was invited to drive him up to Anaheim a few years ago for the Defeat Autism Conference, where he was to present one of his paintings, his beautiful paintings, to one of the keynote speakers. And we were backstage behind the curtain, and there was maybe 5,000 people in this giant auditorium. And I was nervous for Mark. And I asked Mark, I said, Mark, are you nervous about getting up in front of all those people? Because come to think of it, buddy, I don't think I've ever seen you nervous or anxious in 20 years of our friendship. And he looked at me with a smile and he said, well, Gregory, that would interfere with my happiness. Thank you, Mark. So here's one of my peace, love, and let's sing along together songs, and I hope you do. I wrote the song thinking that you'd be singing with me in it, and the chorus, you'll catch the chorus as the song goes on. It's called Love is Stronger Than Hatred. Isn't that always the truth, ladies and gentlemen? Love's stronger than hatred. Let us stand together and say it. Love's stronger than hatred. It's time we start smiling again. I'm strong when you're holding my hand. Like a butterfly inside a tornado, now I toss and I turn in my bed. The front page of the morning paper reads more like a cartoon instead. Has the whole world gone mad while I slept? Has the whole world gone mad while I slept? Love's stronger than hatred. Let us stand together and say it. Love's stronger than hatred. It's time we start smiling again. I'm strong when you're holding my hand. Standing in line at the station, everyone stares at their phone or their shoes. I see a stranger help an old woman. That act of kindness won't make the news. Open your eyes, see hope around you. Open your eyes, see hope around you. Love's stronger than hatred. Let us stand together and say it. Love's stronger than hatred. It's time we start smiling again. I'm strong when you're holding my hand. Be open-minded, not ignorant. I know it's easier just to complain. We're all more alike than we're different. We're just trying to get home at the end of the day. We're all trying to get home at the end of the day. I said love is much stronger, stronger than hate. Love's stronger than hatred. Let us stand together and say it. Love's stronger than hatred. It's time we start smiling again. I'm strong when you're holding my hand. Thank you. Thank you, Reverend Patti.
Where's Anne? Where are you, my dear? Come on up. This is our time for giving and receiving, and Anne is doing a special workshop, and I want to allow her to tell you a little bit about it and tell you a little bit about tithing right before we tithe, and do the prayer. Why don't you do the prayer too? That'd be wonderful. Come on up.
Thank you, Patti. I love this topic, and I love the talk today. One of the things, the reason I joined this church is because of the consciousness of Reverend Patti. Our church closed, and I was looking for a new community. And her consciousness about money and prosperity and accepting our good is the reason that I joined. So I'm doing I don't even know what to call it next week. It's a short, maybe an hour, discussion about tithing, offering. Did you know there's a difference? I didn't know there was a difference. Now I do. So another reason I became a practitioner was because I found myself, my husband and me, $2 million in debt. And I remember sitting on my bed thinking, what idiot gave me $2 million? And I loved what you said today about fear and about, so I know why we did that. And I want to share that story with you. But also I do have handouts. I want to hear from you. And we're going to talk about why we call it conscious giving. And there's a very good reason. And you know, money is also called currency. There's no accident in that. It's energy that's meant to flow. So I want to have a lot of fun with this group after church next week. And Reverend Lori is planning a workshop on prosperity. So that's a good lead into prosperity. So just join me in prayer as we accept our good. This community is an awesome receiver of good. Each and every one of us is so happy and so grateful for all that we are given. And in that gratitude, we are freely giving of our time, treasure, and talent. And this morning, we have an opportunity to share our good with our entire community. And we know that that good goes out into the world, that we are that shining light going beyond and into infinity. So we are so excited to accept the generous contributions today in conscious giving. And I know that that comes back to us many-fold as individuals. And so with great gratitude, I just say thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is.
Don't we have wonderful celebration singers? Thank you so much. I love it. They're just always here to inspire us and to just keep things moving along. Now would be the time for the Miracle Minute, and I just want to remind you to email those Miracle Minutes in. And you know, I understand that some of them have gotten lost somewhere in cyberspace because I haven't gotten any recently, and I have been told that they've been sent in. So sometimes it happens. Computers, I don't know. I try not to even try to understand. but if you've sent one in and I haven't said it yet, resend it. Rev Patti, it's right there in the bulletin. I know it is, right on the back. Right in the back. Send it to this email address so that I can get it, so that I can read it. So if I haven't said yours yet and you absolutely sent it in, please send it again so I can read your demonstration of answered prayer, because we know that it absolutely is. It's exciting. We're kind of nosy. We want to know. But it's really not about that. It's about understanding that conditions change around us. Answered prayer is knowing that our word changes the conditions around us, that we absolutely, prayer changes things. Prayer changes things. That's it. That's all I want to say. So mail in your demonstrations of answered prayer so that I can say them from here and we can all celebrate with you. You ready? Now it's time for The Last Word by Johnny Kirko.
Hello. So, Vision Meet and Greet still going on. Everybody online, love you guys. Join us for that. We got a practitioner available for you to do prayer work one-on-one, and just say hello to our online community. Thank you guys for being a part of that with us. Coffee Connection, still 8:30 in the morning at Monday through Friday, led by Reverend Lori Sheets. Join us for that. And Reverend Lori Sheets had a great prayer today. Thank you, Reverend Lori. You can find the links for that on our website, and you can join us in those Monday through Friday. Foundations, we have a class starting up tomorrow night with Reverend Patti Paris. It starts at 6:30. It is a Zoom class. Did you want to say anything real quick, Patti? No, she said it last week. So here's the deal. If you want to join us, there's a link on the website, as well as if you are on our e-newsletter, I am sending you an e-newsletter this afternoon with links to all of our classes. So join up, be a part of Reverend Patti's class and the other ones I'm mentioning here in just a second. On Thursday evening, we have Dr. Jim Turnage, who's going to be with us. Dr. Jim is going to do the Doctors In program, and what we're doing is we are having a real good discussion about what's going on with COVID, vaccines, the Delta, the variants, all that stuff. And we're having your questions as well as the ones that we prepare. So we want you to do this. It's online. It'll be on YouTube, Facebook, as well as in the room. So join us for that. We're just going to talk to Dr. Jim for an hour. He's also a practitioner as well. So he's not only a medical doctor. Damn it, Jim, he's a doctor too. But he's also a practitioner. So join us for that. We also have two other classes starting up, the Universal Christ. It's a book study led by Marianne Downs Tanaka. And yes, The links will be available for that. Join Marianne Downs for that book study. She said it's going to be fantastic. Right, Marianne? Is that what you said? Yes. So join us for that. James Vandenberg has got Roots, Exploring the Roots of Science and Mind. That's coming up in a couple of weeks. So there's a link available, and all those are going to be in the links that I sent to you to this afternoon. Next week, Reverend Patti Paris will be back. Her talk title is No End in Sight. And we have Kenny Dye and the house band who's going to be with us. Yes. So how about Mr. Gregory Page? Where do you go? Did he bail on me? So here's a couple things I want to mention about Gregory. Just in the last 2 weeks, he just won San Diego Music's Pop Album and Album of the Year for San Diego. Mr. Gregory Page did that, yes. And so, Gregory, I had a couple people online want to know how they can get the music that you sang to us today. Are any of those on CDs or available online? So where do they find that? GregoryPage.com. GregoryPage.com. And I want to mention to you something also. Gregory's going on tour with Jason Mraz starting next year, and he's going to be starting out in Holland and stuff. So this man is on fire. And the first song, what's the name of the first song? Green Lights and Blue Skies. That thing is on fire right now. Check the video with Jason Mraz and he in it. It's really cool. He's doing some fantastic stuff. Gregory, thank you for your work on that. Yes. So you had Ann Dinopoli up here just a few minutes ago. So next week, after our celebration, she will be here in the room, and she's going to be doing a little bit on tithing. She mentioned a little bit. So it'll be right after celebration. It starts at 11:30. Join us for that. We'd love to kind of go through tithing and giving and all the good stuff and how it helps you and supports you more than just us as well. So thank you very much for that. Love you guys.
Bye. Okay, it's time to stand up and recite our affirmations and know the truth for ourselves and know the truth for everyone in the whole world. We are changing things one affirmation at a time, aren't we? So let's say these together. Are they up there? Are you ready? You're ready. Okay, let's do this. Deep in the center of my being is an infinite well of love. I now live in limitless love, light, and joy. I fearlessly express my truth. Two. We're going to say two again. I now live in limitless love, light, and joy. Absolutely. Let us go within one more time here this morning and know God. Just breathing into that sacred space, breathing into that seed of perfection that is nestled within us. We know absolutely there is one. It is God. It is animating our life. It is breathing our breath and beating our heart, digesting our food, thinking our thoughts. It is living its life through us and as us in the world. And so we are peace. We are the peace of God that shows up. We are the joy. We are the wisdom. And as we embody and embrace and demonstrate these qualities of God in us and through us and as us, we transform the world around us by our presence in it. I give great thanks for these powerful manifestations and for the high consciousness of each and every one of us doing the work of spirit on earth as we would see it done. It is transformational work. It is so blessed, and we are the blessing for being able to do it. With such thanksgiving and gratitude, I let it be. And so it is. Amen.